Welcome to Dark Female Leaders You Should Know About. While the world celebrates the women of Hollywood with their Time's Up movement, I think of my own. Not only are they women, they are dark-skinned women. When does the world and Hollywood fight for them? According to the National Violence Against Women Survey, African American women experience higher rates of intimate partner homicide when compared to their white counterparts. Daniel Holtzclaw, January 21st, 2016. Holtzclaw received a 263-year sentence after a jury convicted him on multiple charges connected to the rape and sexual assault of 13 dark women while he was an Oklahoma City police officer. I have a difficult time ignoring the sexual violations committed towards dark-skinned women for hundreds of years. From the slave masters who used our women as sex slaves, lab rats for medical experiments, etc., to the present-day sexual exploitation of the dark-skinned women in all levels of entertainment. From the modern European to the dark men, also known as her protector, she has been wronged. One day, we will answer for it. I present the women that fight back. Harriet Tubman. Born into slavery in Maryland, Harriet Tubman escaped to freedom in the North in 1849 to become the most famous conductor on the Underground Railroad. Tubman risked her life to lead hundreds of family members and other slaves from the plantation system to freedom on this elaborate secret network of safe houses. A leading abolitionist before the American Civil War, Tubman also helped the Union Army during the war, working as a spy among other roles. After the Civil War ended, Tubman dedicated her life to helping impoverished former slaves and the elderly. In honor of her life and by popular demand, in 2016, the U.S. Treasury Department announced that Harriet Tubman will replace Andrew Jackson on the center of the new $20 bill, which has yet to happen, I might add. Madam C.J. Walker. Born Sarah Breedlove, created specialized hair products of African American hair and was one of the first American women to become a self-made millionaire. After suffering from a scalp ailment that resulted in her own hair loss, she invented a line of African American hair care products in 1905. She promoted her products by traveling around the country, giving lecture demonstrations, and eventually established Madam C.J. Walker Laboratories to manufacture cosmetics and train sales beauticians. Her savvy business acumen led her to be one of the first American women to become a self-made millionaire. She was also known for her philanthropic endeavors, including donating the largest amount of money by an African American toward the construction of an Indianapolis YMCA in 1913. Bessie Coleman. Born January 26, 1892 to April 30th, 1926, was an American aviator and the first black woman to earn a pilot's license. Her high-flying skills always wowed her audience. In 1922, aviator Bessie Coleman became the first African American woman to stage a public flight in America. Because flying schools in the United States denied her entry, she taught herself French and moved to France, earning her license from France's well-known Caudron Brothers School of Aviation in just 7 months. Coleman specialized in stunt flying and parachuting, earning a living barnstorming and performing aerial tricks. She remains a pioneer of the women in the field of aviation. Dr. Dorothy Height. Born in Virginia in 1912, Dorothy Height was a leader in addressing the rights of both women and African Americans as the president of the National Council of Negro Women. Dorothy Height was a civil rights and women's rights activist focused primarily on improving the circumstances of and opportunities for African American women. The numerous honors bestowed upon her include the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1994 and the Congressional Gold Medal in 2004. She died on April 20th, 2010 in Washington, D.C. Height had applied to and been accepted to Barnard College in New York, but as the start of the school neared, the college changed its mind about her admittance, telling Height that they had already met their quota for black students. Undeterred, she applied to New York University, where she would earn 2 degrees, a bachelor's degree in education in 1930 and a master's degree in psychology in 1932. Fannie Lou Hamer. Born into a Mississippi sharecropping family in 1917, Fannie Lou Hamer spent much of her early life in the cotton fields. Fannie Lou Hamer was an African American civil rights activist who led voting drives and co-founded the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. She became involved with the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee in 1962, through which she led voting drives and relief efforts. In 1964, she co-founded and ran for Congress as a member of the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, drawing national attention to their cause at that year's Democratic Convention. Hamer continued her activism through declining health until her death in 1977. Afeni Shakur. Born Alice Faye Williams, January 22, 1947, passed May 2, 2016. Afeni was an American activist and businesswoman. The Queen was the mother of American rapper and actor Tupac Shakur. In 1968, at the age of 21, she changed her name to Afeni Shakur, Afeni meaning lover of people, and Shakur being Arabic for thankful to God, respectively. Shakur joined the emerging Black Panther movement in 1964 after meeting an associate of Malcolm X who was recruiting among youth in the Bronx. Afeni told biographer Jasmine Guy, "The Black Panthers took my rage and channeled it. They educated my mind and gave me direction." Assata Shakur. Born Joanne Deborah Bryan on July 16, 1947 in New York City, New York, Assata, a political activist, author, and step-aunt of the famed slain hip-hop artist Tupac Shakur. Assata enrolled in Borough of Manhattan Community College before transferring to City College of New York, where her exposure to Black nationalist organizations profoundly impacted her activism. She also began interacting with other activist groups and subsequently participated in student rights, anti-Vietnam War, and Black liberation movements. In 1971, she adopted a new name, Assata, She Who Struggles, Ologbala, Love for the People, Shakur, the Thankful. During a trip to Oakland, California in 1970, Shakur became acquainted with the Black Panther Party. She returned to New York City and joined the Harlem branch. Assata left the Black Panther Party in 1971 and joined the Black Liberation Army, which the Federal Bureau of Investigation, also known as the FBI, branded an anarchist group. Winnie Mandela. Full name Nomzamo Winifred Zaniwe Madikizela, was born the fifth of 9 children in the village of Mbongweni, Bazan, in the Transkei on September 26, 1936. Winnie Mandela is a South African activist and politician who has held several government positions and headed the African National Congress Women's League. In 1945, when she was only 9 years old, Winnie had her first conscious experience of what the strictures and injustices of racism and apartheid meant in South Africa. She was married to Nelson Mandela for 38 years, including 27 years during which he was in prison. Of all the major figures who came to global prominence during the South African liberation struggle, Madikizela Mandela was seen as the most at home in the world of celebrity culture, and for many of the years just before Nelson Mandela's release from 27 years in prison, she was his public face, bringing word of his thoughts and his state of mind. She was offered academic honors abroad. Wilma Rudolph, born on June 23, 1940, in St. Bethlehem, Tennessee, Wilma Rudolph was a sickly child who had to wear a brace on her left leg. She overcame her disabilities to compete in the 1956 Summer Olympic Games, and in 1960 she became the first American woman to win 3 gold medals in track and field at a single Olympics. Later in life, she formed the Wilma Rudolph Foundation to promote amateur athletes. Born February 4, 1913 to October 24, 2005, civil rights activist Rosa Parks refused to surrender her seat to a white passenger on a segregated Montgomery, Alabama bus, which spurred a 381-day Montgomery bus boycott that helped launch nationwide efforts to end segregation of public facilities. The city of Montgomery had no choice but to lift the law requiring segregation on public buses. Rosa Parks received many accolades during her lifetime, including the NAACP's highest award. Rosa Parks' arrest, refusing to give up her bus seat. After a long day's work at a Montgomery's department store, where she worked as a seamstress, Rosa Parks boarded the Cleveland Avenue bus for home. She took a seat in the first of the several rows designated for quote-unquote colored passengers. 3 of the other black passengers on Rosa's bus complied with the driver, but Rosa refused and remained seated. The driver demanded, "Why don't you stand up?" To which Rosa replied, "I don't think I should have to stand up." The driver called the police and had her arrested. Later, Rosa recalled that her refusal wasn't because she was physically tired, but she was tired of giving in. Maya Angelou, born Marguerite Annie Johnson Angelou, April 4, 1928 to May 28, 2014, known as Maya Angelou, was an American author, actress, screenwriter, dancer, poet, and civil rights activist. Best known for her 1969 memoir, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, which made literary history as the first nonfiction bestseller by an African American woman. Angelou received several honors throughout her career, including 2 NAACP Image Awards in the Outstanding Literary Work Nonfiction category in 2005 and in 2009. Maya Angelou's poetry. Angelou published several collections of poetry, but her most famous was 1971's Just Give Me a Cool Drink of Water 'Fore I Die, which was nominated for the Pulitzer Prize. Angelou's career has seen numerous accolades, including the Chicago International Film Festival's 1998 Audience Choice Award and a nod from the Acapulco Black Film Festival in 1999 for Dawn in the Delta. She also won 2 NAACP Image Awards in the Outstanding Literary Work Nonfiction category for her 2005 cookbook and 2008's Letter to My Daughter. Martin Luther King Jr., a close friend of Angelou's, was assassinated on her birthday, April 4th, in 1968. Angelou stopped celebrating her birthday for years afterward and sent flowers to King's widow, Loretta Scott King, for more than 30 years until Coretta's death in 2006. I'll be back with some more dark female leaders that you should know about. If you learned something in this, feel free to share.